says that everybody that you meet, you were supposed to meet, and there's nobody that you meet that you weren't supposed to meet. But the Course says that relationships are basically 3 assignments. The first is what's called the first level of teaching. The first level of teaching is when you have a casual encounter with somebody. Let's say you met somebody in an elevator, or some child lost his little ball, and you had to choose in those interactions who you were going to be. Were you going to smile at the person in the elevator, or were you going to be cold and dismissive, which is the way the world tells you it is wise to be in some cases? Or when the child loses his ball, are you going to just kind of ignore or get angry with the child, or are you going to be real sweet and throw the child his ball back? That's called the first level of teaching. When there's no real purpose for you to have an extended relationship with this person, but for the purposes of your healing, every situation gives you the maximal opportunity to learn what there is to learn from that interaction. Now, the second level of teaching is when you come together with a person for a relatively extended period of time. And that relatively extended period of time has to do with the fact that you come together with people, and let's say you're together for 6 weeks or 6 months or 6 years, and then the relationship ends. Now, according to the ways of the world, according to the ego, that means that the relationship failed. Oh, that's too bad. Of course, that doesn't mean the relationship failed at all. That means the relationship might have succeeded beautifully, but there is no longer their learning and their healing together for those two people is no longer best served by physical proximity. So then the Course says that the people appear to separate. Now, people don't really separate in those cases because we're taught that people are not their bodies. We're concerned with content instead of form, remember? So the content is the mental interaction, and that goes on forever. The Course says, whom God hath brought together, the ego cannot put asunder. So the truth for us is that once you're bonded with someone, that's it. You're in that relationship forever. So when you separate, if it seems to be that it is no longer best serving either of you to be together physically, for us, that does not mean that the relationship failed. It means that the relationship, as I said, might have succeeded beautifully, and now it's time to move on. Now, the third level of teaching is one which the Course says is generally few in our lives, because it would mean that you came to a point in your learning with another person where both of you gave maximal opportunities for growth for a lifetime. That would mean that you met somebody, and for your whole lives, there would be stuff to learn together. Now, you're probably your hearts are going pitter-patter because you think, wouldn't that be nice to meet that person? And the Course says not necessarily. You might not like each other at all. All we said was that you had a lot to learn together. We didn't say that you'd like each other, right? Because depending on where you are, the person sometimes who is the greatest teacher for you, remember the person who's really the greatest teacher for you is someone who brings up all your stuff. Brings up all your stuff for you to choose again. If you still have a lot of stuff to be chosen again about, if you still have a lot of stuff to be healed, then sometimes your greatest teachers are people who are going to press your buttons and not make you so happy at all. That's why I say to people here a lot, stop praying for your soul.